Tired of constantly dousing your fruit with chemicals to keep pests away? The Amish have been growing stunning, pesticide-free fruit for generations, and their techniques are simpler than you might think. No harsh sprays, no synthetic chemicals, just the power of nature. So, how do they do it? Let's start with one of their most common methods, companion planting. Companion planting is essentially the practice of pairing plants that help each other thrive in different ways. In the Amish community, this technique is a cornerstone of their organic farming practices. By planting certain herbs or flowers near fruit trees, they naturally keep pests at bay without any synthetic solutions. Take marigolds, for instance. These cheerful flowers don't just add color to the garden. Their roots release chemicals that repel nematodes, harmful worms that can destroy crops. It's like sending a natural eviction notice to pests. But marigolds aren't the only ones. Herbs like garlic, chives, and mint are often planted around fruit trees to keep insects away. I tried a similar method in my own small garden by planting chives next to my tomato plants. The results were impressive. Fewer pests and much healthier plants, all without having to rely on sprays. Companion planting isn't just for large farms either. Even a small herb garden can benefit from this approach. Another bonus, companion planting attracts beneficial insects like ladybugs and bees. Ladybugs, for example, are excellent at keeping aphids under control, those tiny pests that love to munch on fruit crops. Instead of battling nature, the Amish invite it in, creating a balanced ecosystem where plants and insects coexist in harmony. It's like having your own organic army, nature's very own pest control. But companion planting is just the beginning. Another time-tested method the Amish use is homemade sprays. At first, I thought this meant complex recipes and hard-to-find ingredients, but it turns out it's quite simple. One of their go-to sprays is just a mix of vinegar and water. The acidity of the vinegar acts as a natural repellent for many pests, protecting the fruit without any damage. This isn't a new idea. Vinegar has been used for cleaning and gardening for centuries. When the Amish lightly mist their fruit trees with this diluted vinegar solution, it helps prevent fungus growth and keeps smaller pests at bay. You can easily try this yourself. Just mix equal parts vinegar and water, then spray it on your plants once or twice a week. It's affordable, chemical-free, and surprisingly effective. Plus, there's something rewarding about using an old-fashioned method in your modern garden. So, whether you're looking for a simple way to protect your crops or trying to embrace more natural gardening practices, these Amish techniques are a great place to start. The Amish have another fascinating method for protecting their fruit trees, known as trap cropping. Trap crops are essentially decoy plants designed to lure pests away from valuable crops. Certain plants are more attractive to pests than others, so the Amish strategically plant these decoy plants away from their orchards. For instance, they might grow sunflowers or mustard plants to draw aphids or beetles, keeping these pests far from their fruit trees. I gave this technique a try in my garden by planting some extra flowers to see if it would protect my strawberries, and to my surprise, it worked remarkably well. The bugs flocked to the flowers, leaving my strawberries mostly untouched. This method is simple and effective, making it a great option for gardeners of any scale who want to reduce pests naturally without resorting to harmful chemicals. But the Amish don't stop at trap crops. They elevate their pest management by using biological solutions, relying on nature itself to maintain balance. Instead of turning to commercial pesticides, they introduce beneficial predators into their orchards. These natural allies include predatory wasps, ladybugs, and even spiders. While they may sound intimidating, these helpful insects are harmless to humans and pets, yet highly effective at keeping pest populations under control. For example, a single ladybug can consume up to 50 aphids in one day, offering a powerful, chemical-free pest control solution. In my own backyard, I've encouraged more ladybugs by planting dill and fennel, two plants they absolutely love. This small adjustment has made a noticeable difference. Attracting beneficial insects to your garden can be as easy as planting flowers or herbs like marigolds, dill, and fennel. Not only will they assist with pest control, but they'll also add a vibrant, colorful touch to your garden. These methods show how working with nature instead of against it creates harmony and healthier plants. While natural pest control is essential, the Amish's success is also rooted in their dedication to soil health, a key component of sustainable farming. One of their foundational practices is crop rotation. This ancient technique involves alternating the crops grown in a specific area each season, which prevents soil exhaustion, reduces pests, and maintains nutrient balance. For instance, one year, they might plant nitrogen-fixing crops like beans to enrich the soil. The following year, they'll grow nutrient-demanding crops like corn. This constant cycling keeps the soil fertile and interrupts pest life cycles. Even small-scale gardeners can adopt this practice. In my garden, I planted peas in one bed one year and followed up with tomatoes the next. The results were incredible. The tomatoes didn't just grow, they thrived, with noticeable improvements in their health and yield. The Amish take crop rotation a step further by using green manure. Despite its unappealing name, green manure involves planting cover crops like clover, rye, or vetch during the off-season. These plants are later tilled back into the soil to provide organic matter and nutrients. This process enriches the soil, improves its texture, and enhances water retention. Think of it as feeding the soil a buffet of natural goodness. Home gardeners can benefit from green manure too. Planting cover crops in the fall or early spring can work wonders for soil fertility. When you turn those crops back into the soil, it's like adding compost directly where it's needed, boosting plant health for the next growing season. This time-tested approach proves that simple, natural methods are often the most effective. These practices, trap cropping, biological pest control, crop rotation, and green manure, are just a few ways the Amish demonstrate their deep respect for nature while maintaining productive and sustainable farming systems. Their methods remind us that by working in harmony with the environment, we can achieve healthier, more fruitful gardens without relying on synthetic solutions. The Amish truly excel when it comes to composting, a cornerstone of their soil health strategy. Instead of depending on synthetic fertilizers, they craft nutrient-dense compost from kitchen scraps, animal manure, and plant materials. This process transforms waste into a valuable resource, embodying a sustainable approach to farming. If you're new to composting, don't be intimidated. It's simpler than you might think. Start with a small compost bin, or designate a corner of your yard for a compost pile. The key is maintaining a balance, roughly 50% greens, like food scraps or grass clippings, and 50% browns, such as dried leaves or straw. After a few months, you'll have rich, dark compost that plants thrive on, and it's completely free, eliminating the need for costly fertilizers. Why is composting so vital for fruit trees? It all starts with healthy soil. Nutrient-rich soil provides the foundation fruit trees need to grow robustly, resist pests, and yield plentiful harvests. The Amish understand that by nurturing the soil, they're also nurturing their trees, and ultimately, their families. This holistic approach isn't just about short-term gains. It's about sustaining fertile, productive land for future generations. In addition to composting, the Amish prioritize maintaining their trees' root systems by ensuring the surrounding soil is well aerated and properly drained. Mulching plays a significant role in this effort. By spreading organic materials like straw, wood chips, or leaves around the base of their trees, they create a protective layer that helps retain moisture, prevent erosion, and suppress weeds. Mulching also insulates the soil, preventing it from drying out too quickly. I've started using mulch around my own fruit trees, and not only does it aid moisture retention, but it also gives the garden a neat, polished appearance, like tucking your plants under a cozy blanket. For anyone looking to maintain healthy garden soil, mulching is a simple and effective method that's easy to implement. Plus, it's an excellent way to repurpose organic materials that might otherwise be discarded. Now that we've explored the Amish's methods for soil health, composting, crop rotation, and mulching, let's delve into their ingenious approach to pest control. The Amish have mastered the art of working with nature rather than fighting against it. Instead of using commercial pesticides, which can harm the environment and disrupt delicate ecosystems, They rely on natural predators and age-old techniques to safeguard their orchards. One standout strategy is encouraging beneficial insects, nature's pest control squad. These good bugs include ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps, which prey on harmful pests like aphids, mites, and caterpillars. To attract these allies, the Amish plant flowering species such as dill, fennel, and yarrow near their fruit trees. These plants not only enhance the beauty of the orchard, but also provide shelter and sustenance for helpful insects. Home gardeners can replicate this strategy by incorporating similar flowers into their gardens. I've tried this myself, and the results were remarkable. Ladybugs quickly arrived to handle an aphid problem on my rose bushes, with no need for chemical sprays. Birds are another key ally in the Amish pest control arsenal. They install birdhouses around their orchards to attract species like bluebirds and wrens, which excel at eating caterpillars, beetles, and other pests. This partnership not only keeps pest populations in check, but also fills the farm with birdsong, creating a serene and vibrant environment. For home gardeners, adding birdhouses or feeders is an easy way to invite these helpful birds into your yard. Beyond their pest control benefits, birdwatching offers a delightful bonus. These eco-friendly solutions, composting, mulching, beneficial insects, and inviting birds, highlight how the Amish have perfected a system that works in harmony with nature. By applying these methods, gardeners of all sizes can enjoy healthier plants, a thriving ecosystem, and a more sustainable way of growing. The Amish employ a variety of ingenious methods to manage pests and promote plant health, starting with the practice of companion planting. This technique involves growing specific plants near each other to provide mutual benefits. For instance, the strong scent of marigolds acts as a natural deterrent to many harmful insects. The Amish often plant marigolds around the bases of their fruit trees to protect them. Similarly, garlic serves as another effective companion plant, repelling pests like aphids and even combating certain fungal diseases. Another cornerstone of Amish pest management is their use of natural sprays. Instead of relying on synthetic chemicals, they craft their own using simple, natural ingredients such as neem oil, soap, and water. Neem oil is particularly prized for its effectiveness as a natural insecticide. It disrupts the life cycles of pests without harming beneficial insects, humans, or animals. The Amish use neem oil sprays to shield their fruit trees from a range of pests, including aphids, whiteflies, and scale. Mastering timing and seasonality. A critical component of Amish farming success lies in their deep understanding of timing and seasonality. They align their planting and harvesting schedules with the natural rhythms of the seasons to optimize plant health and avoid peak pest activity. By studying the life cycles of common pests, they strategically delay or advance planting to minimize exposure. For instance, if a particular pest is more active in early spring, they might plant later in the season when the threat has passed. This practice doesn't require any advanced tools, just knowledge and patience. Home gardeners can adopt this strategy by experimenting with planting times to see how timing affects pest levels and yields. Creating natural barriers. The Amish also rely on natural barriers to deter pests. They plant hedgerows, shrubs, or dense vegetation around their orchards and gardens, which act as physical obstacles for pests. These barriers not only slow down invasive insects, but also create habitats for beneficial predators that help control pest populations. For home gardeners, planting herbs or flowers like lavender, basil, or marigolds around garden edges can serve a similar purpose, while also adding beauty and biodiversity to the space. Building long-term soil health. One of the most inspiring aspects of Amish farming is their commitment to long-term soil health. They recognize that healthy soil is the foundation of thriving crops and invest heavily in maintaining its quality. Through the use of compost, manure, and organic fertilizers, they continually replenish the soil with nutrients, avoiding the need for synthetic chemicals. Over time, this approach creates richer, more fertile soil, which naturally supports stronger, pest-resistant plants. For home gardeners, improving soil health is straightforward. Start composting kitchen scraps, yard waste, or even purchase organic compost from a garden center. Healthy soil leads to healthier plants that are less vulnerable to pests and diseases. Utilizing natural pest traps. The Amish also employ natural traps to keep their orchards free of pests. Sticky traps or pheromone traps are placed strategically throughout their gardens to attract and capture harmful insects before they can cause significant damage. These traps are easy to use and require no chemicals. Home gardeners can adopt this technique by placing sticky traps near fruit trees or other vulnerable plants. DIY traps made with sugar water and sticky surfaces can also be effective and inexpensive solutions for controlling pests naturally. Emphasizing plant resilience. A key philosophy in Amish farming is resilience. They don't strive for perfection, understanding that some pests will inevitably make their way into the garden. Instead, their focus is on creating strong plants and ecosystems that can withstand challenges. By nurturing healthy soil, planting diverse crops, and fostering beneficial insect populations, they prevent pests from thriving in the first place. This principle of prevention over control is something every gardener can apply. Rather than worrying about every pest, focus on building a robust, balanced garden where occasional issues won't derail your efforts. Intercropping for added benefits. The Amish often practice intercropping, growing different crops close together to enhance growth and reduce pests. For example, planting nitrogen-fixing legumes like beans or peas near fruit trees boosts soil fertility by increasing nitrogen levels. This results in healthier, more pest-resistant fruit trees. Additionally, intercropping can confuse pests, making it harder for them to locate their preferred plants. Home gardeners can try this technique by experimenting with planting complementary crops together to enhance soil health and reduce pest pressure. By combining these time-tested methods, the Amish demonstrate how to work in harmony with nature to achieve sustainable, chemical-free farming. These practices are easy to adapt for gardeners of all sizes, offering a way to grow healthier plants while supporting a thriving, balanced ecosystem. The Amish employ time-honored gardening methods that maximize yields while maintaining ecological balance. One foundational practice is intercropping and companion planting, where crops are grown together to benefit one another. For instance, planting herbs or legumes alongside main crops not only improves soil quality, but also deters pests naturally. For example, onions planted next to broccoli help repel pests that commonly target broccoli. These methods create a resilient, diverse garden space that thrives without chemical intervention. Seasonal and succession planting. To make the most of their garden space, the Amish rely on seasonal crop planting and succession planting. Their gardens are constantly productive, adapting to the rhythms of the seasons. Cool weather crops like broccoli and lettuce are planted early in spring. As these are harvested, the same space is reused for warm weather crops like beans and tomatoes. When fall arrives, hardy greens such as spinach take their place, ensuring continuous productivity. Take broccoli, for instance. It is planted in early spring and harvested by midsummer, making way for summer crops like radishes or beans. By fall, the same plot might host spinach or kale. This careful planning allows the Amish to maximize harvest from the same garden beds throughout the year. Succession planting further enhances efficiency. As soon as one crop is harvested, another is planted in its place. For example, onions harvested by midsummer are replaced with a fast-growing lettuce crop for late summer greens. This practice enables 2 or even 3 harvests from the same space in a single growing season. Intercropping and space efficiency. The Amish also optimize garden space with intercropping, where multiple crops grow together in the same bed. For example, onions may be planted between rows of broccoli. As the broccoli grows tall, the onions continue developing in the understory. This approach ensures no square inch of the garden is wasted. These practices not only conserve space, but also reduce pest problems by creating a more balanced ecosystem. They minimize the need for chemical interventions while promoting healthy crops. Crop rotation for soil health. Another critical practice is crop rotation, which involves changing the type of plants grown in a specific area from one season to the next. This prevents nutrient depletion and reduces the risk of soil-borne diseases. For example, after harvesting carrots, the Amish may plant nitrogen-fixing beans to naturally replenish the soil. This cycle keeps the soil fertile and productive year after year, eliminating the reliance on synthetic fertilizers. By combining seasonal planting, succession planting, companion planting, and crop rotation, the Amish are able to achieve remarkable yields. In some cases, they double or even triple their harvests without expanding their garden's footprint. Sustainable pest control. Protecting these abundant harvests requires effective, eco-friendly pest control. The Amish prioritize maintaining a balanced ecosystem, using natural solutions to combat common garden pests. One example is their approach to slugs, a frequent nuisance for crops like broccoli and cauliflower. Amish gardeners conduct regular crop inspections and use a simple soapy water solution to trap and remove slugs without resorting to harmful chemicals. Their methods demonstrate that sustainable gardening doesn't require heavy reliance on commercial products. By leveraging knowledge, patience, and a respect for nature, the Amish achieve impressive results in their gardens. Home gardeners can adopt these techniques, from intercropping to natural pest control, to create healthier, more productive spaces. No chemicals needed. The Amish gardening approach emphasizes sustainability and efficiency through thoughtful techniques and natural methods. Their hands-on methods for managing pests, nurturing soil, and synchronizing crop cycles demonstrate a deep understanding of the land and its needs. Vigilant pest control. Instead of relying on chemicals, the Amish actively manage pests through manual efforts and companion planting. For instance, while others might suggest using crushed eggshells to deter slugs, Amish gardeners prioritize manual removal for more reliable results. Early intervention prevents pest problems from escalating, ensuring healthier crops. Companion planting plays a crucial role in their pest management strategy. Marigolds and neem plants are commonly grown near vegetables, naturally repelling harmful insects. Dill, for example, is planted alongside cabbage, its strong scent warding off cabbage worms. These combinations not only protect crops, but also add beauty to the garden, blending functionality with aesthetics. Sustainable crop storage staple crops like garlic and onions are handled with care to ensure year-round availability. Garlic bulbs are carefully harvested, cured, and stored, with the largest bulbs reserved for planting the following season, creating a self-sustaining cycle. Onion varieties such as copra are favored for their extended storage life, ensuring the Amish have a consistent supply through winter, reducing dependence on store-bought goods. Crop rotation for soil health. Crop rotation is a cornerstone of Amish gardening, preventing nutrient depletion and mitigating the risk of soil-borne diseases. One season might see root vegetables like carrots or potatoes in a garden bed, followed by nitrogen-fixing plants like beans the next. This natural replenishment of soil nutrients supports robust crop growth and ensures the land remains fertile over time. Seasonal crop management. The Amish meticulously align their planting schedules with the changing seasons to maximize productivity. Cool weather crops like lettuce, spinach, and broccoli are planted early in spring when temperatures are mild, offering a fresh harvest before summer heat sets in. By late summer, these crops are replanted to extend their growing season, ensuring a steady supply of fresh produce. Broccoli and lettuce, often planted together, thrive in early spring. This pairing conserves space while shading the soil, keeping it cool and moist. Additionally, staggered plantings prevent bolting, a common issue when temperatures rise, allowing greens to remain crisp and flavorful. Warm weather strategies. As summer arrives, attention shifts to heat-loving crops like tomatoes, squash, and cucumbers. However, the Amish take precautions to shield crops like tomatoes from summer rains, which can lead to diseases such as blight. Simple covers or high tunnels protect the plants while allowing light to penetrate, creating an ideal growing environment. On hot days, water conservation becomes critical, with sun-sensitive crops grown in shaded areas or beneath taller plants. This natural shading system helps regulate temperatures and conserve moisture. Succession planting for continuous harvests. One of the most effective methods the Amish use to maximize yield is succession planting. Once a spring crop like broccoli is harvested, the same bed is immediately replanted with summer crops, such as green beans or squash. This method keeps the garden productive year-round, minimizing downtime and reducing weed growth. As summer ends, the cycle begins anew with cool weather crops like kale or carrots, which thrive well into autumn. Adaptability and land stewardship. By alternating crop types and incorporating various techniques, Amish gardeners give their soil time to recover, maintaining its fertility and structure. They stay adaptable, responding to each season's challenges and ensuring a high yield despite changing conditions. Through vigilant pest control, sustainable storage practices, and a skillful balance of seasonal planting, the Amish demonstrate that farming can be both productive and environmentally harmonious. These techniques not only preserve the land for future generations, but also provide a steady, chemical-free supply of food. Their methods offer valuable lessons for anyone seeking a resilient and sustainable approach to gardening. If an unusually cool summer slows the growth of warm-weather crops, the Amish adapt by planting more cool-season vegetables, taking full advantage of the weather. Conversely, in particularly hot years, warm-weather crops might even produce a second harvest, boosting the garden's overall productivity. As autumn nears, Amish gardeners prepare for winter by overwintering hardy crops like carrots and certain leafy greens. These vegetables are heavily mulched and left in the soil through the colder months, ready for an early spring harvest. This method saves storage space and provides fresh produce immediately after winter, reflecting a practical approach to self-reliance. By carefully planning their planting cycles, the Amish ensure a continuous supply of fresh food from the same plot of land, blending patience with time-tested methods to sustain their families and the soil. Companion planting and perennial care. Building on seasonal planting techniques, the Amish incorporate companion planting and nurture perennials to create a thriving, sustainable garden ecosystem. Companion planting pairs, crops that mutually benefit one another, maximizing space while providing natural pest control. Meanwhile, perennials offer reliable harvests year after year with minimal effort. Companion planting serves as an organic pest deterrent in Amish gardens. Certain plants emit scents or substances that repel pests, harmful to neighboring crops. For example, the strong aroma of onions planted near broccoli and cauliflower deters aphids, creating a natural pest barrier without the need for chemicals. Additionally, legumes like peas and beans improve soil fertility by naturally fixing nitrogen, a critical nutrient for crops such as corn. By carefully planning these combinations, Amish gardeners enhance soil health and reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers. Flowers play an equally important role in Amish gardens. Bright blooms like marigolds and calendula attract pollinators while discouraging harmful pests. Marigolds, for example, are often grown near cucumbers and squash to repel aphids, while calendula attracts beneficial insects that help control pest populations. This strategic use of flowers ensures the garden remains vibrant, balanced, and productive. The role of perennials. Perennial crops, such as asparagus, rhubarb, and strawberries, are cornerstones of Amish gardening. These plants require initial care to establish deep, healthy roots, but reward that effort with years of consistent harvests. For instance, asparagus must be allowed to grow undisturbed in its early years to develop a strong root system. Although this demands patience, the payoff is immense, as a mature asparagus plant can produce for up to 20 years. Similarly, Amish gardeners carefully manage strawberries by trimming excess runners, offshoots that drain energy from the main plant, to encourage better root and fruit development. To support these perennials, the Amish enrich the soil with natural fertilizers like compost or mulched leaves. For strawberries, a layer of mulch provides winter protection and enhances soil quality as it decomposes. With rhubarb, seasonal soil enrichment ensures consistent growth and abundant harvests. By integrating companion planting with perennial care, Amish gardens remain productive throughout the year. Just as flowers like marigolds deter pests in summer, practices like mulching and pruning prepare perennials to survive the winter. This alignment with natural cycles creates a self-sustaining system where every plant contributes to the health of the ecosystem, ensuring a bountiful future. Caring for fruit trees and berry bushes. In addition to vegetable gardens, Amish families cultivate orchards filled with fruit trees and berry bushes. Staples like apples, pears, raspberries, and blueberries not only provide delicious harvests, but also deliver essential nutrition year-round. Establishing an orchard requires long-term planning, as fruit trees take several years to mature. However, the Amish view this effort as an investment for future generations. Once planted, trees are pruned each winter to strengthen their structure and encourage healthy growth. By removing weaker branches, they direct the tree's energy toward producing larger, more flavorful fruit. Pruning also reduces pest and disease risks by improving airflow through the tree canopy. While this approach takes time and effort, it ensures decades of productive harvests. To protect their fruit trees from wildlife, the Amish use simple, cost-effective measures. For instance, mesh barriers around the lower branches deter deer from nibbling on tender shoots. Birds, drawn to ripening fruit, are kept at bay with netting placed over branches. Some Amish farmers also use natural repellents or construct physical barriers to safeguard their orchards. These preventative measures protect the trees while maintaining a sustainable, eco-friendly approach. The Amish employ mindful practices to maximize harvests from their fruit trees, ensuring that their supply is protected from wildlife such as hungry deer and birds. Alongside their orchards, Amish families cultivate berry bushes like raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. These compact plants provide abundant yields in a relatively small space, often producing fruit within a year or two of planting. Berries are particularly prized by the Amish for their suitability for preservation methods, such as canning or drying, which allow them to enjoy the taste of summer well into the colder months. One key to thriving berry bushes is maintaining optimal soil health. For instance, blueberry bushes thrive in acidic soils. To achieve this, Amish gardeners enrich the soil with organic materials such as pine needles, which naturally lower the pH level. Raspberry and blackberry bushes benefit from composted manure, which supplies the nitrogen they need for robust growth and generous yields. This commitment to balanced soil health reflects the Amish dedication to sustainable gardening practices. Like fruit trees, berry bushes face seasonal challenges. Amish gardeners pay close attention to signs of nutrient deficiencies, such as yellowing leaves or stunted growth, which may indicate a lack of nitrogen or other essential nutrients. By addressing these issues early, using organic fertilizers like composted manure, they ensure the continued health and productivity of their plants. Techniques like mulching, careful pruning, and vigilant observation enable berry bushes to thrive year after year, yielding fresh produce that supports self-sufficiency. Expanding garden spaces. As their commitment to self-reliance grows, Amish families often expand their garden plots to accommodate more crops. These expansions aren't just about increasing yield. They're opportunities to integrate sustainable methods and cultivate a diverse range of plants. When expanding their gardens, the Amish prioritize staple crops like corn and potatoes, which require more space. Instead of immediately tilling the soil, they often prepare the area by layering mulch and organic matter, gradually enriching the soil and transforming unused land into fertile beds. This process sets the stage for productive harvests over several seasons, ensuring that the new plots contribute to the long-term health of their gardens. For newly prepared plots added later in the growing season, the Amish plant fast-maturing crops like radishes and beans, which reach harvest quickly. For staples such as corn and potatoes, they select varieties with shorter growth cycles to ensure they can mature before the season's first frost. By doing so, the Amish make effective use of every inch of their expanding garden space. Time-tested techniques in larger gardens. In their larger plots, the Amish continue to apply companion planting techniques. For example, they use the Three Sisters method, where corn, beans, and squash are grown together. Corn serves as a natural trellis for the beans. Beans enrich the soil with nitrogen, and squash spreads across the ground, shading the soil and suppressing weeds. In addition to this harmonious trio, the Amish plant pest-repelling herbs like dill and vibrant flowers like marigolds, which attract beneficial insects and deter harmful ones. Protecting crops from wildlife remains a priority in these expanded spaces. Simple measures, such as running twine over rows of corn, discourage birds, while lightweight netting safeguards young plants from other animals. These low-cost, practical solutions allow the Amish to uphold their chemical-free farming principles while ensuring the safety of their crops. Balancing productivity and sustainability. By thoughtfully expanding their gardens, the Amish continue to balance increased productivity with a deep respect for the land. Their methods align with their core values of patience, stewardship, and sustainability. Whether transforming unused land into fertile plots or utilizing age-old companion planting techniques, their approach proves that gardening can thrive beyond its traditional boundaries. With careful planning and respect for nature, the Amish demonstrate how to build a thriving, resilient garden ecosystem. Are you ready to double your garden's potential? Like, subscribe, and share, and let us know which Amish technique you'll try first.